Well, welcome to the 5 on 5. Joining me now is Alan Berlin. He's the Executive Director for Southern Oregon Headstart. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
My pleasure.
So, start off by telling us exactly what the Headstart program is.
The Headstart program goes back to 1965 during the War on Poverty under the Johnson administration. And ultimately, its goal was to get children ready to succeed in school. It's a comprehensive program because we understand when we look at young children, and now we serve children 0 to 5 years of age, we know that if we don't impact the entire family and the entire child, we really can't assure those kinds of outcomes. So by impacting the entire family and the entire child, that means working directly with parents, helping them establish goals for their children, giving them the tools they need to meet their own personal needs, to look at a child not just in terms of a child's education, in terms of cognitive things, but also looking at the child's health, the child's mental health, the child's dental health, and the entire being.
Okay, so it's pretty much all-encompassing. And, you know, we've heard a lot of talk about how the sequester has affected Southern Oregon Headstart. How has that trickled down here locally?
Okay. The total sequester nationwide for Headstart was $405 million. Our share of that sacrifice was $358,000. Because we were required to keep a standard, I shouldn't call it a standard, but there's a maximum number of children you can have in the classroom according to the performance standards, which we must follow, and also the Oregon Division of Child Care Division has a maximum number of children you can have in a classroom as well. We're at that maximum. So we couldn't, as public schools do, put more children in a classroom. What we had to do was to eliminate some of the classrooms. And what we had to do was eliminate 79 slots of service from our program this year, which will begin in the middle of the month of September. How that saves money is people get laid off. And so we did several things to try to make it as painless as possible. We tried to eliminate the smallest number of children from service, and that came to 79. But we also eliminated 15 jobs. That's 15 people in our community that had employment that lost employment. We also took 17 positions and moved them from fully benefited positions to unbenefited part-time positions. That was also very difficult. We were able to shorten our school year last year. We can't do that this year, but we did shorten it last year. We can't because they won't let us. But we were able to shorten it last year because it came all of a sudden. The sequester wasn't all of a sudden. We knew it was coming. We planned for it, but they allowed us, because of its emergent nature, to shorten the number of days we served. And finally, we eliminated transportation services for 4 classrooms.
Okay, so a lot of impacts definitely from the sequester. Of course, we'll have much more from Alan Berlin when we return. Stay with us. Welcome back to the 5 on 5. Again, we have Alan Berlin here, Executive Director of Southern Oregon Headstart. So, Alan, you know, what is eligibility like? I know right now you have a waiting list, right?
That's correct. We are serving over 1,141 children, but we still have a waiting list, and school's not going to start for 3 weeks. However, sometimes parents who have gotten on the list and have been approved for Headstart way back in May for a school year that starts in September, sometimes they move or they may not be available anymore. So we are still accepting applications. And if folks want to get their child in Headstart, they can call 541-734-5150, and our staff will help them get their child on the waiting list. And there is some movement during a year, so just because you're on the waiting list doesn't mean you won't get in. We do encourage people who have an interest to apply. And
if there's a parent out there who's just wondering, you know, is my child eligible for Headstart? Can you kind of walk us through the eligibility? You had mentioned that it might have been need-based?
Yes. The rules for who gets in are both federal and state rules. So our local agency doesn't make this decision. The rules are that we try to serve the neediest of our populations based on, number one, family income. And so you need to meet federal poverty guidelines, which for a family of 4 are about $28,000 a year. our average family earns a little under $9,000 a year for a family of 4. These are very low-income people. However, there are special considerations given to special populations. As an example, if your child has you suspect your child might have a handicap or have a certified handicap, their slots are reserved for those children that are medically fragile or have other kinds of social or emotional needs are also given priority points for the system and a computer. We assign the points and the computer makes the selection.
Okay, well, Alan, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. That does it for the 5 on 5. We'll be right back with more news. Stay with us.